What up, girl? What up? It's a pool party.
Land Grant Pool Party. Okay, get into it.
I do like that. It's a lager, right?
It's a Pilsner.
Oh, it's a.
I had to check the label. But I did like that it unintentionally kind of matches my outfit, the color palette.
Girl, totally. You're very much like Chaperone in the end of movie Luau in Grease 2.
Thank you. I feel like
Yes.
I'm a bad Photoshop of a chaperone because my hair, like, you know what I mean? Like, the colors should be normal. But then
Right.
put it in a free app online, like the Maybelline
Like color by
makeup app.
number.
Yeah, exactly.
Girl, I love your hair. Is it darker tonight?
Yes, I got it done over the weekend, so...
It looks fabulous. It's so rich.
Thank you. It's a little bit of a darker serve this evening.
I do like it.
But yeah, thank you. I feel like Anime Girl Next Door grew up and maybe, you know, just ready for Pride.
You're the only person I know that could pull off like those pearls with that shirt. Is it a dress or a shirt?
It's a shirt dress. It is a shirt dress. Would you like to see?
Why limit yourself?
Why?
You know?
Why choose? I love a shirt dress because they're so classic and they have a nice fit and flare silhouette.
Oh my God, that's so vintage and fabulous.
Thank you. A box pleat skirt with a very thin belt. Church bake sale 1962, you know.
Big church bake sale energy. Oh!
Yeah. Oh! And of course, it has pockets so I can keep all the things in it.
Oh my God. Is it from Ishakti?
It surely is. They just get me. They just get me.
Girl, they surely do. Well, yeah. I'm so glad to see you. I literally like raced. Today was one of those like pack 20 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag day. And this is like, here's the thing. It's the last thing on my to-do list, right? But it's like not a thing to do. It's just like joyous. So this is like my end.
Agreed.
This moment is me running over the finish line. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just an exciting moment. How are you?
Yeah. You know what? Not doing great, but it's Pride. It's Pride month starting tomorrow, so we'll get there. I think I'm just tired, Brooke. I'm tired that I thought that we were beyond this moment in history. You know when you have this like realization, which like I'm sure there's a lot of people who are like, welcome to the party. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's not.
You know when you look back on the last 10 years, 6 years, whatever, and you think, oh, but at least we're going in this one direction. At least progress is being made. And then come to find out, we're actually not going in the right direction. So I'm grappling with that reality right now.
Yeah. You know,
Can I like pull the veneer down? Can I take the armor off, dear viewers? Like, I'm just tired. I'm just tired of it.
Fuck yeah. When I opened for Barack Obama, that was a name drop. Unlike Michelle Obama, who I opened the week before for. Awkward for everyone.
Awkward for everyone.
Barack was, we're on first name basis. Barack was not as impressive as Michelle, obviously, because Michelle Obama is everything. But
iconic.
I do love this thing that he said, and he said it then, and it's in his book, like it's in, it's everywhere, and it's not a new thing. But I love the way he talks about it because I saw him speak during the Trump presidency, right? So he would never talk about Trump, and I appreciate and value, I don't know, almost like not saying his name, right? Like, you know what I mean? I think there's like value in, even when I did like my TED talk about my sexual assault, we're going deep. Everyone's like, give us the name. I'm like, it's not about that. This is
the light content we were all waiting for.
Exactly. Like that's not about like my recovery and my process is about me, and I'm going to focus on me. But Barack Obama said, what looks like progress in history when you zoom in is this.
Yep. Absolutely.
But we're living in this. And I think like, that's the thing that it's just like, holy shit. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how, it's a win and you can win those days and you make the progress or you go out in the streets or you pass the law or whatever the good thing is. And sometimes it's just being in the streets and being in camaraderie with those who are also hurting.
Yep.
But fuck, it's whiplash every other day. It's whiplash for the exhaustion of, am I a human? Do you think I'm a human? Am I a human? I'm not a human. Like it's draining as fuck.
It is. So I remember I was a sophomore in high school in 2004 when gay marriage was banned in Ohio. And then it was That's a fun throwback, isn't it? Where were you? Get in the chat.
Yes.
And then,
where were you during the Defense of Marriage Amendment, or whatever the fuck it was called?
right. And so, yeah, Defense of Marriage Act, yeah. That was great. And then it took from 2004 to like what, 2015 until we got gay marriage passed on the national level. And 11 years. You know what I mean? It was 11 years of fighting within movement to say like, well, you know, progress is slow and maybe this isn't the time for this issue and what should we be focusing on? It's just like, it's just exhausting. So not only do you have to hold the ignorance and the homophobia in the broader community, but then you have to do all this work within the community. And so tonight, girl, we're here to talk about resilience. Like, how do you keep going? Because the whiplash you're talking about, I'm thinking about it like a pendulum. Maybe it's more like a sort of a swinging like sword of Damocles or something, but it's very intense.
You know, those approachable metaphors everybody gets.
Yeah, very relatable illusions.
We are colloquial on the dish.
Yeah. So I've been thinking, how far back is the pendulum going to swing, right? And so at first you're like, okay, well they're gonna put forward a little bill, like that's cute. And then, you know, it gets assigned to committees, and then it gets hearings, and then it gets put forward, and then these things get passed in 10 other states. And you're just like, how far back are we going to go? Because I don't know if I can do it again, right?
Yeah.
And now Roe's on the table, so basically we're all feeling like everything is on the table.
Right. I just lost my light, so now it got serious. You know, I need a new ring light. Because I stole it. This is karma.
That looks like the cover of Conversations with Brooke Cardis. A deep dive.
A deep dive! That was the other name. That's a dish after hours. You know, I think it's tough when you're aware of it too. Like, I think that's the other piece. Like, everything you just talked about, like, people are like, oh my God, where did those all come from? And it's like, no. You know, this has been a long game. You know, this has been a goal for, you know, decades or centuries or whatever. And it's just like, oh my God, like, it's just so tiring to think about people waking up and being like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to strip people of their dignity. We're going to strip people of their autonomy. We're going to strip people of their integrity. And
we're gonna go to work. We're going to go to work as public servants and punch down on people who are literally silenced. You know what I mean? This is what's so infuriating about the claim of like Christian evangelicals being oppressed and silenced. It's like you want to talk about the people who are silenced?
You have the mic.
You have the mic. You are actively talking at me about this issue.
Right.
That's not what I think I would call silenced. So anyway.
Oh my God.
I'm just here to rant. Apparently, I'm just here to rant tonight on the dish.
I get it. You know, resilience is one of those things that, like, I think it looked different in my 20s and my 30s too. Like, I think for me,
let's talk about that.
I could bounce back. I mean, I worked on the marriage campaign as an intern for Equality Ohio. So I worked, and I remember we were racing. I was racing the New York Times. They should not have had me race the New York Times. I was a first-year law student reading the marriage equality decision of Bergefell v. Hodges, and the New York Times was reading it, and like everyone was reading it, right? Miami Herald, everyone. And we were all trying to release our synopses. I'm like competing with BuzzFeed with like Chris Geithner. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm a first-year law student. I can't even read legal opinions that well yet. And it was just
I can't even read. I'm only L1.
And I remember the big party, and I got to tell the story because it's just absolutely bananas. But it's about resilience. And do you know where our celebration party was? Union. Of course, it was a union, right? So Union, if you don't know, is just a hangout for the white cis gay men. And
it makes me make this face.
Yeah, you're not gonna say anything. It's like you can't say anything bad.
I feel so welcome here.
So we're there, and the executive director at the time did the funniest shit in the world. And I still do this with our friend Joseph, who's been on. And she goes, "Where are my L's at? Where am I?" And she goes through the whole acronym, girl. We get to B, and people boo because gay men hate bisexuals because they don't believe them. And
they booed?
Go to lesbians, yeah. they booed bisexuals. So I'm identifying as bisexual at the time, and I was like, cool. They get to tea and nobody makes a peep because there's no trans people in the room. Because we left trans people out of the fucking movement because we have been exclusionary from the get. Oh my gosh. And she's like, any teas? And I was like, okay, you know what you want to do as a trans person? Out yourself in a room of people who just booed bisexual.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is going to go over well. Maybe I should expose my truth in front of these people where I'm clearly safe. That's so funny.
Let me order another Long Island and some chicken tenders and see how the night goes.
Yeah, I'm going to keep
But
that.
it was just this moment of like,
I'm gonna keep
what
that
we
to
felt
myself.
like was like victory. Just, you know what I mean? It was victory. And I'm not taking away from that, but like, fuck, even that, you know, it's so exclusionary and it was such a privileged fight.
Well, equality versus equity, right? Equality is like everyone has access to a seat at the table, but then it's like equity is realizing that the journey of everyone to get to the table, right? Like the ability of the table to support different types of people is vastly different. So like just it's absurd to me that someone would get on a mic and be like, where are my teas at? Like
also, that's how I'm gonna greet you from now on.
Please do.
Where are my teas?
Wow.
You know, it's like, you know, in any other community, you probably could do that. Like if you were like doing a party for Caribbean folks, you'd be like, where are my Jamaicans? Where are my Haitians? But you just can't do that in the queer community because we're just so siloed and like, even in that resilience, right? It almost feels, you feel protective of your energy. And it's like, that was what happened with the AIDS movement. And that's what's happened in the past with feminism and the reproductive justice movement. It's gay men are like, fuck, I'm not going to be out there for that. And women were like, I'm not going to be out there for HIV AIDS. That's not my fight. And it's because I don't think it's because we're selfish. I really don't. I think it's because we're tired. And I think it's, if you only have so much energy in a day, in a week, in a year, in a decade, don't get me wrong. I know there were a lot of lesbian and straight women nurses caring for men in the AIDS crisis. Like there's no, I'm not denying that.
Oh yeah.
But like overall, we have a limited well. And when I was 25, I could do this shit all day, every day, come home, barbecue, have one too many bourbons, and get up Saturday and be back out in the streets. Like I think the weight of the collective work can be a lot, and you need to find a way to release it.
Yeah. And a way to forgive yourself for not doing everything that you want to do or you feel like you should be doing.
Girl, say more about that.
Oh, no pressure. I just feel like it's ramping up again, and the urgency for direct action is very high right now again.
Right.
And sometimes I feel like, why? Who is this for? Is this for me? Is this for the community? Is this for the legislature? Who's my audience? And also, what's the end goal? Because sometimes when these things that just feel like the, you talk about the March of Progress, this is the reverse of that, right? Like the sort of reactionary march. Yeah. Sometimes you just feel like a stone in a rushing river. And so I'm trying to not delude myself because I'm not a woman who likes to live in delusion. I don't make a habit of deluding myself.
No, definitely not.
So I want to be realistic about this. And so like, how do I take action and understand my role as an individual in this fight while also realizing like the reality of the landscape, right? And so I need to let go of this assumption that, oh God, this is going to sound really dark, girl. So I'm going to say it and then let me explain. I need to let go of this assumption that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
What if it's not going to be okay? What's your plan? Because hope is not a plan. So I think and I'm going to make a campy expression so I can just diffuse some of the negativity with that statement because I feel like it echoed more than I wanted it to. What if everything's going to fall apart? You know? But seriously, like, it's kind of, this is dangerous for me because in my history with mental health, that leads to catastrophizing.
Right. Which we're trying to avoid.
We are trying to avoid that because it's not a sustainable mental state.
Right.
But you have to find sustainability in crisis. And girl, that's why I've been talking to the goddess Babylon for the last 2.5 years. Ever since COVID started.
She's a babe.
Yeah.
You know, I think I had this conversation today and I was like, I am such a realist, you know, and it can be really draining. right? So like if you're in this work with someone like me, who's like, look, you're not going to have unlimited energy, so take care of yourself. And hey, maybe this isn't the protest to go to.
Yeah.
Maybe this isn't the protest to go to.
Maybe just build that into the plan. I'm not going to be able
Right.
to support everything.
Right. And, you know, in as we think about like we're going into the 2-year anniversary of, you know, the huge protests after the murder of George Floyd in Columbus. And I got in that argument with legal observers because I'm like, I get we're not in the fray, right? We're not getting pepper sprayed. Well, we were getting pepper sprayed.
2 years ago today was when in Columbus they were unfolding flashbangs and just throwing them into the crowd. Like that was
right.
That was March 31st.
Wow. So like, right, that's the example of, you know, whatever you're giving. And in that case, legal observers, right? What is a legal observer? We stand there, we take notes. If there's a civil rights violation, we're just vicious secretaries. We just take notes.
I'm watching you. Yeah, just like
very little hat.
Yeah, a little hat and a very aggressive
like, you know,
clipboard.
We are, and sometimes we even have notebooks. Oh yeah, definitely clipboard. Mm-hmm. So, and again, I love legal observers, but like sometimes like they're incredibly important to the legal process, but also like y'all can fool it, like, and myself included. Like, well, I have a hat. You know, it's like, all right, cool.
Right. You could say, you could also say this as a very experienced legal observer yourself.
Exactly. I've been doing it for over a decade.
Yes.
I've organized, you know, the whole legal observation teams for Pride in Columbus. So I'm very like comfortable and confident saying sometimes all you are is like, well, I'm taking notes. And like someone's getting their ass beat. Oh, and you're like, what's your badge number?
Yeah.
But that's all we can do, right? We're using the tools we have. I'm not you know, and you're just out there and these legal observers would keep going out day after day after day. Like, they need us. And I was like, here's the deal. With legal observers, the whole point is you have to be unbiased or as neutral as possible.
Yeah.
And when you're exhausted, you're not. When you're exhausted, you're not biased. And frankly, that could hinder you being a good witness and supporting the truth. Because the whole point is we're supposed to be a neutral witness and a neutral arbiter of what happened. So riddle me this, Batman. If you're going on like no days of sleep and you're out there for your 4th or 5th day and you've seen immense acts of police brutality and then you see something else happen, you're going to be influenced by the last 4 or 5 days and the lack of sleep and the everything.
Yeah.
So it's just like you have to take care of yourself. You got to fill your own cup before you fill others.
Right. So maybe that's not the best thing for you to be doing today, because if I can abstract out a little bit from what you're saying, you have to support yourself before you can support movement.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to do because, girl, I don't know about you, but I'm not very good at listening to myself. Like, no. I just, the tuning into that frequency is not always like, it's like one of those old time, oh God, I'm going to sound like, because I don't know. You know, when you're like, you're dialing an old radio, you're trying to find a frequency and it's just white noise, right? Like you haven't found the channel yet. That's what it feels like sometimes to try to listen to my needs. Because it's like, I'm feeling like a hunger for justice and I'm feeling constipated by injustice. And it's like, oh no, wait, I'm actually hungry and I'm actually constipated. So maybe I need to have a snack and go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? And that's not going to solve all my problems, but it is going to help me approach the work that I need to do in a healthy way where my basic needs are met.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think, you know, ignoring physical needs, right? And ignoring our physical body is American as apple pie. You know, as like
when you say that, it creeps me out now. Like any reference to like chopping down the cherry tree and like apple pie, and it just creeps me out now. You know what I mean?
I know, but it's so true. I mean, the American way is to just like ignore it, right? Like just ignore it, ignore anything, ignore the pain, ignore white supremacy, whatever you want to ignore. Anyways, we're getting heavy, but no, I love that. And I think back to kind of like the queer experience and the trans experience, you can obviously speak to that. I can't, all the things we suppress or separate or compartmentalize to get through the day, especially when it comes to things like identity, you have practice at suppressing that stuff in a way that, is very deep and that affects the movement.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, so I was born with tinnitus, which is a ringing in your ears, and I'm not aware of it unless it's silent, and then I can hear it. And it's
I didn't know this.
Well, it doesn't come up in parties a lot.
But it does come up in a weirdly deep episode of Covered Dish.
These things find their way out. They will find their way out of you. But girl, I can't believe I haven't told you this in like over 10 years we've known each other. But it doesn't really affect me that much, but I can hear a subtle ringing all the time. Like now that I'm thinking about it, I can hear it a little bit.
Well, right.
Yeah. So it's focus or it's silence. And that's kind of like, speaking from the trans experience, the fact that your identity is under constant scrutiny and is abnormal and is not a legitimate thing for most people is kind of like that tinnitus buzzing in your ear. Like,
it's just, yeah.
I don't think about it all the time, but when I enter certain spaces, I'm focused on it and then I'm really thinking about it. Or it's like if I'm kind of like tuning out, sometimes you'll just become aware of it. And you're like, man, I wish I could just fully unplug and thinking about like floating in water. And then like now I'm thinking about the experience of being trans and how I'm going to have to like armor myself to move through the world, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't say that to try to garner pity. I just say that to keep it real. And that's Covered Dish, baby.
You're not garnering pity. This is life. This is your life. Like, I don't know. I was talking with a friend of mine and she is, has a good job and her partner has a good job and their rent went up like 65% with like 2 days notice.
Oh God.
And she's like,
awful.
Oh my God, girl, we can afford it. Like, it's not that deep, but like, it's still a lot. And I don't know what we're going to do. And I'm like, look, that absolutely sucks. And it doesn't matter if you can afford it or not for your pain and what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
We can have a comparative discussion if you want. But in the vertical, you just had an incredibly tough change thrown at you. In the horizontal, yes, you can handle it. Compared to other people, you're fine. You're not going to be out on the street. There's going to be a solution, whatever.
Right.
But like, just don't, you just can't compare pain and you can't compare trauma at a certain point. And this is what my issue is with when we talk about race and LGBTQ community, because people will be like, try to compare race and gender and race and sexual orientation. I'm like, or don't.
Mm-hmm.
What is our obsession with thinking like, to your point, like, you don't know what the situations you're going to be in. And it doesn't matter if at the end of the day, you're like, well, it actually wasn't that bad. And partially because of my white privilege or my passing privilege or whatever it is. It's like, okay, that's fine. But the anxiety you had leading up to that moment was very real. And I don't think we have to discount that.
Yeah.
And I think you have to, I think both can live and both can be true.
Yeah. What do we gain from that comparison?
Ugh. Nothing.com.
I think it's, it's just going to remind us that we don't understand one another.
Right.
In some very basic ways. And also that's okay. Like the not being able to understand someone's experience is maybe uncomfortable, but the discomfort around that does not mean that it's a bad thing.
Right.
Like this is a horrific paraphrase, but Audre Lorde said that our difference is not what separates us; it's our lack of ability to recognize difference.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree.
Yeah,
I think we solved it all.
You know what? I think we're done.
Girl.
And scene.
All right. So last tips on how to stay resilient.
Girl, right before I got on stream, this button on my blouse burst, just exploded off of me. And you know what? I said,
your giant breasts got in the way.
My just cleavage, my breast, boobs, titties, and jugs fell right out of my top.
Like a slip and slide. That's Christina Morvet's joke about a nerdy dude's dick coming out like a inflating slip and slide. I think it's hilarious.
Oh my God. I was going to say like a Jacob's ladder, like just, you know.
Yes. Those were so weird. Were they toys? What were they? Anyways.
Yeah. But you know what? I had prepared for this contingency by sneaking away a little package of safety pins inside my makeup kit.
Wow.
Thank you. I'm so brave, aren't I?
#brave.
#brave. And you know what? I popped one of those little babies right in here and we were good to go. Because I am nothing if not modest, Brooke. With these cartoon inner tube lips just going,
I always think you need to have a safety pin on you. And that's the hill I will die on. So for resiliency,
Yeah.
always keep a safety pin in a bag, at the bottom of a bag. It'll save your life. You don't even know in the ways it'll save your life.
Yeah.
Trust legal observers and trust yourself. Take care of yourselves. This isn't going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. Oh, here's the real final thought. So that was just kind of a throwaway because sometimes I tell jokes when I'm uncomfortable, and this is a really difficult topic tonight. This is a truly difficult thing to talk about and to investigate within yourself. So I would just say, like, lean into saying no. Say no when you have to. Say no when you want to. You know, you might want to try to do 5 things. This is going to be hard. Say no to 2 of those things. Because if you want to say no to 5 things, chances are you're going to pay a cost for doing all 5 of those things, and then the recovery time is going to be longer.
Yes.
You might be sick longer. You might stay tired longer. You might make more mistakes. So that's what I've been trying to feel my way into lately.
I love that. And if you need to kill time at a party and get it going, you now have a new icebreaker. Where are my L's at? Anyways,
oh God,
this has been Covered Dish. We are here every Tuesday. We love seeing you. We love hearing from you. So please comment in the chat what ways you stay resilient on YouTube. Check out our Instagram, on Facebook. We love you all individually and collectively. And we will see you next Tuesday and every Tuesday right here on Covered Dish.
You sure will. Happy Pride Month. Bye.
Bye, y'all.